I think we should keep it wrapped up and wait for the present to be open on its own time.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes, Chris.
Thank
That's
you.
why we have him on the team.
Ah.
Yeah.
I'm good for a few things besides good hair and good looks.
Yeah. He's going to be a hair model. We should have done that today. Brought our table.
Well, I can't do that because I haven't had a haircut in a while. It looks shoddy. I wouldn't walk in public like this.
Yeah.
So right now,
especially being a hair model. That
I know it's gonna look it's gonna look 110, as I would say, and this is about 65. So.
110 is really just 10%, though.
We discussed this. We can't go into this right now. We don't have time for this.
Okay, we'll talk math
We have a
later.
guest on the show.
So, Courtney, the website, they can text you, they can get a hold of you.
Yep, absolutely.
Your place looks fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm still waiting for the invite where we can come speak to some people.
Yeah, so another part of my job, being in Northern Michigan here, is just being involved in the community, getting involved with Families Against Narcotics and different coalitions that are supporting the recovery network, and just being out there and being available, looking to put support groups together in the Charlevoix, Emmett, Sheboygan, Otsego location for spouses, family members, friends, professionals, people that are in recovery themselves, just to get resources. There's not a lot up here. So there's things to be coming down the line here in 2020 that I'm working on and trying to just become more out in the community and just make it a known thing. It's hard, because we socialize in an addiction type of.
But that list that you just said of all the people that are affected by it, it's the family members, the loved ones, the husbands, the kids, all that. And when we're out there doing what we do, we just think, we're just ruining ourselves. My mom once equated it to you throw that pebble in the water and all those little
the
ripples
ripples.
go out. I never once thought of that. And you guys offer...
That's a great analogy.
Oh, it's perfect. And it's just like everything that you guys offer, the avenues, the directions, there's support for everybody, every person. You guys have all those options to help everybody that's involved in what we're screwing up.
Well, and one of the most important things, too, that I do as well is when the patients are coming out of Skywood back into the community, we work with them to find them sober living facilities, to find them therapists, to find them primary care physicians. We're not just going to discharge you from our facility and be like, okay, go home. Good luck. I hope everything works out for you.
Right.
We're there every step of the way. We're going to make sure that you're set up for success, whether you go to the IOP in the Detroit area or you want to come back home and we set you up with a sober living facility and a therapist in your area. Like, those are the things that are important to us to make sure that we're sending you back to be successful.
Go back out to the wolves. Here you go. There's a couple of meals for you. You got some weight back on. We're not just going to put you out.
Right, exactly. So,
what about if somebody is from another state? Because we have people that listen in Chicago. We have people listen in St. Louis. We have people listen in New Zealand.
Yeah, so we actually have people, we have business development reps that work in the Illinois area, the Indiana area, and then I believe there's one out in Minnesota. So even though they're from different places, it doesn't matter. We will take everyone and anyone. So if you were to call me and say that, I'm looking at, treatment with your facility, the first step I'm going to ask you is, what is your insurance? Who is your insurance? And then I'll ask you to send your insurance information to me, and I'll send that over to our admissions department to check the, your benefits to see where we stand. What's your deductible? Some insurances don't go outside of the state. Some insurances go inside of the state. So those are all things that we have to check, and those are our first steps, is just to see where we stand first.
Now, if someone, say their deductible is $1,000, so they just have to cover the $1,000, then the insurance pays the rest, or the insurance pays up to 80% of something, or
whatever. Every insurance company and every plan is so unique in their own way of what they're going to cover and what they don't cover. So, and then once we do figure out, what your deductible is, then we go from there, and we work out, how to pay that, and then if we also will help facilitate travel as well.
Okay.
So if you are flying into Detroit and you need a Lyft or an Uber over to Skywood, or if you're located in the Saginaw area and you need a drive down, not everybody has family members or friends that can take them. So,
interesting that you mentioned rides.
Oh, yeah. Is that part of the present?
No.
No.
Maybe it's not doing that yet.
Don't
But-
open it. Don't open it.
No, gotta leave
There's
it.
a Christmas tree
leave it
next
under
to
the
us.
tree.
We are sitting in a coffee house.
Yes.
That's why there's a little bit of music. Sorry.
But
Set the mood.
and I know you don't work for an insurance company. Dang, that chick. She gave me the eyes.
Sorry, Corey's mom.
Yeah. She was like
Sorry,
wanting
Corey's
to hook
mom.
up, and I don't know that's what she looked at me like.
Hey, you know
anyway,
what? Professional.
before I
Put your
was
game face
rudely
on.
stared down by that hot,
Stop,
amazing
stop.
looking. What?
We're talking.
I was
to
talking about the
somebody.
plant. The plant.
Well,
Tell me about the insurance plan that you were asking me about.
Okay, so you don't work for an insurance company, so you
No.
don't know all that stuff.
No.
And I don't know. You probably don't work for billing, so you don't
No.
really know all that stuff. So I don't know if you'd answer this, but I'll just put it out there. What's she doing? She's flaunting
you're
now.
talking to somebody and you're getting sidetracked.
Squirrel.
Right. Exactly.
That's her name.
Well,
Hey,
oh, good God, no. So what he was going to ask if I could.
so
Thank you.
back on track here.
Thank you,
It's that woman. You said one time I was at a place. This woman bent over right in front of me.
Corey.
Anyway,
This is supposed to.
so back to the serious question I was
Yeah.
about to ask Courtney from Skywood Recovery.
Jesus Christ.
When I was looking into going to California, this one guy said, because it was between one or another, and the other, my insurance would pay 80%, the other 60%. Well, the guy that worked at the one that would only cover 60% was like, look, man, don't worry about that. We don't come after people. We know that you don't have anything. And at the time, I had a house. I had stuff to lose. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, we're not going to put on your credit report. We're not going to come after you for that $5,000. That's why it's so expensive, is because we know that you people aren't going to pay. So as long as we get the money from the insurance company, we're good. Now, if you can't pay it, that's fine. But don't worry about it. Don't let that be a deciding factor. And I was like, what the hell? And I checked him off my list then, because I'm like, that sounds shady AF.
Yeah, no, we don't really work like that.
No,
Most of the time, we want the payment up front. And, I mean, yes, I will say that there are cases where, there's circumstances and things that we take into consideration, but most of the time, it's an upfront payment.
right. But don't let that...
Don't let that hinder the fact of you thinking that you want to come to Skywood.
Because, here in this community, we have the Community Recovery Alliance, which helps people with funding. Mm-hmm. And, so if you wanted to go to a treatment and you called your insurance and they're like, okay, well, this is going to cost you $4,000, $3,000. There are churches, there are people you can reach out to if you just don't have that money floating around for a rainy day. Now, maybe you do, and that's fine. But if you don't think that money, and it's so hard when you're at the bottom in your addiction, when you realize you need help, it's hard to think anything positive. It's hard to have any hope. It really is.
Well, in Traverse City is starting a new program as well called Hope Not Handcuffs. Mm-hmm. So at any given time, you can walk into the Michigan State Police Department and tell them that you need help, and they'll bring in their team from Hope Not Handcuffs and try and facilitate some type of treatment facility.
As long as you don't have a warrant.
Yeah.
If you have a warrant, they're going to take you to jail.
Well,
that's what.
Maybe that's the best thing that'll happen to you.
No, not jail. Jail's not. That stuff does need to be dealt with. But if you're in active addiction and you go to the police station and they, instead of taking you to treatment, take you right to jail.
Yeah, and I really,
that's not good.
honestly, I don't know how all that happens. I actually am going to meet with the director of Hope Not Handcuffs at the end of the month and find out all those types of details. But, I had a brief conversation with her and an overview of how their treatment works. But
She's a judge, or was a judge, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
I know my mom goes to these fan meetings, and she got going to the fan meetings because of a friend, Christy Angelo, who was a Michigan State police officer who lost her son because of prescription drugs. And, she's very, I could maybe try to shoot you in that direction to try and ask questions if that may be what you want to do. But it's just, I would never, ever would have thought to walk into a police station and say, yeah, I'm a heroin addict and I need help, because they're going to pat you down, they're going to check you out, and they're going to take you in.
Well, and I feel like that's part of the stigma that maybe they're trying to work on, as far as, listen, we know that we have an opioid epidemic. What are we going to do to help? How are we going to change it? Because, if you look at the jails right now, they are flooded with mental health people. Mm-hmm. And it's just our tax dollars.
Yeah. They have a mental health court now, besides a drug court, besides alcohol court.
Yeah.
that's a lot of taxpayer money.
Exactly.
And well, and the VA has their own, court system now, over on the other side of the state, so I think that they're really starting to realize that this is just not something that we can just brush off and hope it goes away.
You truly can't. You hear these commercials. That doesn't frustrate me, but me being an ex-heroin addict and just knowing that you hear these commercials and this epidemic, and I never, I've always said never in my life did I say I want to be a junkie when I grow up. Well, guess what I did? I excelled at it. I became the commercial. This is your brain on drugs. I woke up and stole money and hustled and, did everything I needed to do to get what I needed to get. And nowadays it's actually the curtains kind of being lifted and things are being seen that I can tell you when I came off, because I was on a run when I was doing uppers, and my brain was shot. They put me on the suicide watch because I was coming down. And so I know it's the mental health along with the addiction so there's more to this noggin that's just I want to get high. There's so much more to it that needs to be looked into, and like you said, you guys offer all this these treatments, these different ways to go about it, which is certainly going to help the person that wants to get better.
So we couldn't just put Chris in there for a couple months, see how...
You mean do a test on me?
Yeah.
Oh,
just to make sure he's good. Get him all checked out mentally.
Okay, I'm that guy that refuses prescription drugs.
Hey, listen, when we have our next Professionals Day, which is going to be coming up here in the next couple of months, I know you guys are going to be going down there and checking out our facility and seeing what we got going on. And then you can come back and review us.
Okay.
And you'll be 10 stars.
Okay.
Are you allowed 5, though? Or are you allowed 10?
No, you're only allowed 5, but you're going to get us 10.
I was going to say, so we would have to give you 10.
Yes, exactly.
Because I give you 5, he gives you 5, and if Ryan's there, he'll give you 4.
Oh, there you go. Then I get 15.
Ryan will give you 4.5.
If it's up to our standard, we're not going to just...
Well...
Oh, you're not going to jump to conclusions yet.
Because,
okay.
I've been at places where I thought, hey, this is going to be great, and then I gave them 3 stars out of 10, and they weren't happy.
I'm just, like I said, looking at this pamphlet, it looks like a very wonderful place. Of course, I don't see any snow in any of these shots.
Well, and apparently they told me that it actually lies in the snow belt down there, so they get hammered with snow.
I do have the equine, the horse therapy, they do have snow there, so they give you some type of, heads up.
Chris needs shoveling therapy.
Well, they're building a rock wall.
I did see that. But these things, it just gets your mind off of the crap that you're doing.
Well, and I think, too, a lot of people, as soon as they think of rehab facility, their mind automatically goes to state penitentiaries. We're talking, ceramic, white, sterile... that's what people think of. And Skywood, it allows you to bring a piece of northern Michigan downstate. You can go fishing. You can go, you sit up on a hill and watch the sunrise. The sunrise down there is absolutely phenomenal. It's just beautiful.
So it's not just... Whoa.
Sorry about that. I didn't
fell off
do
the
it.
chair. We're at a coffee house here. We're not going to mention the name because they're not paying us. But, no, it's not just on the website saying that. Maybe you didn't update the website 2-3 years ago and you can walk to the blah blah blah, walk around the lake, and because there are some facilities that have that. They'll have
I know of some facilities, yes, that portray one thing and are not.
Yeah, and then everybody gets there and they're like, wait, where's the weight room? Where's this little walking trail? Where's this? Where's that? And where's the pool table? And there's nothing, and it looks nothing like the pictures. And
nope. Skywood these are our true pictures. Everything on the website is true. I honestly can't wait to bring more people down from northern Michigan down to Skywood. If you are interested, if anybody out there, professional, family members, whatever, if you guys are interested in coming down and touring Skywood, reach out to me. Let me know. Let me take you down there and show you, we're up here, nobody knows of Skywood. It's creating that name awareness and the services that we offer with Skywood. That's really what I'm focusing on right now, because most people don't know of our services that we have, and we're here to make an impact in the community and help this epidemic that we're struggling with right now.
Like I said, I lived in Battle Creek, and Augusta's right down the road. I didn't know anything about it. And it's because I wasn't seeking anything. I wasn't looking. I'm going to go try and find a rehab right down the road. Especially when you're in addiction, you kind of sit back. If you ask somebody to do it, or you don't want to do it, you kind of just, I'll let somebody else figure it out. Well, making these phone calls and shooting you emails, you kind of get the opportunity to show them what's going on, let them know what's happening, and then they can